this is great. So every Sunday, we would sit around. Dad would make Viking eggs that were okay. And Mom would make us coffee, and we'd sit around just like this and talk about, what's going on in each other's lives, what the projects are. But I think today, really, it was about, for me, one of the things that no one really asks is, what was the path for you? So we talk about startups, innovation, creativity, and you don't just become an actor. You don't just get in the door. So can you help all of these young guys understand, what does that creative process look like? Was it easy? Was it hard? Simple, easy, hard. Give them a flavor.
Yeah, this is cool, right? I'm proud of this guy for doing this. This is awesome. It was, to me, it's about, you had to be in love with something. And so I was always in love with acting. Once I started, I wanted to be an English teacher when I went to college. There was no way I was going to be an actor. I was doing it just for fun. And then I went to a theater school in Waterford, Connecticut, the Eugene O'Neill Center. Somebody went there. Someone's like, that's right. We're all going to go tonight. And it was there that I actually learned what it took, and that it's a lot of hard work. And the first thing they teach you is that, I think the amazing head of our school, David Jaffe, came out and he said, one or two of you might get to do this professionally for your life. So you got to learn what it is, the dedication that it takes. And if you still love it, just listen to that voice in your head, because there is a voice way deep back there that will tell you the truth. And the truth is whether or not this is for you and whether or not you want to fight for it. And I heard the voice that day, and I just thought, as long as I'm honest with myself, I'll give it a good old college try. And it worked out. I think it worked out. It worked out pretty well. But the journey was, I always loved it. I loved the community. That was my thing, is like my friends and I used to get together and we used to talk about plays we read. Because the one thing you don't get to do as a working actor in New York is act. You are too busy doing waiting jobs. I cleaned yoga studios so that I could take free yoga classes. And so you only got one day a week to talk to all your friends about all the things that you loved, a movie you saw or a play you read or saw. And so it was all about that community and that love for it. And I think that was the craziest part to jump to The Office. The craziest part about The Office was it was summer camp. I mean, we were all there. Nobody had really done anything, and so we were all there just because we loved it. And I felt the entire time like I was back in college. I felt like we were just doing a play every week, and turned out we weren't. Turned out there were cameras there, which was weird. But it worked. But it was a lot of fun. So that's sort of the path. And then now it's just about same thing, staying in love with it and doing new things. That's why I'm writing and directing and doing a bunch of different stuff.
And obviously we know how hard it is to break into Hollywood, break into acting. I remember times where we were in New York and you'd say, oof, I don't know, should I stick with it? Are mom and dad going to say, gosh, we paid for college, and what happened to this guy? But it wasn't.
That's an intense way of looking at it, but yeah. That I remember that day. That didn't make me feel good.
We said this is going to be a deep conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
But it wasn't always easy, right? And so what was the kind of in the back of your mind? What was always saying, hey, keep going, keep driving? I know I asked you many times, do you love it? And if so, stick with it. So how did you get over those kind of harder early days?
Well, I mean, there's a bunch of things, right? So the love of it was always there, but to me, it was about. I've said this before, but it's true. I'm living a lottery ticket life. So I don't believe that I deserve to have been on The Office and been a part of something that amazing. So I'm trying to feel like I deserve to stay. So I'm trying to feel like I deserve, now that you've given me the opportunity, I want to do really cool things and tell new stories and try to do more than just what you might know of me as an actor. Try to do different things, and I might fail at some, and hopefully I succeed at others. So it's really, for me, about knowing how lucky I am to be in this position. But I remember somebody said something to me a long time ago. It said, a lot of times, the light of success will shine on you once. You want to make sure that you're ready for it when it does, because a lot of times success can shine on someone and you weren't ready. You didn't have that thing. The company wasn't exactly where you wanted it to be like this, and it's ready to go like this. But if you weren't fully ready and somebody gave you an opportunity, that's a scary place to be. And so I was always saying, if I have a shot, if somebody just gives me a shot, you can invite me to never do it again, but I'm ready. Just give me one chance. And it really was like Rudy or something. I was like, just put me in. and I will score a touchdown, and if I don't, kick me off the team. So it was really that kind of feeling of when it did happen, it was extremely overwhelming, to be honest. It's still a hard thing as far as knowing the big idea that people even know who I was. I'm still a really shy person, but if you can talk to anybody in high school, I was pretty shy. I was sort of making jokes here and there, just hoping that nobody noticed.
Do you guys believe that? No. All right.
Yeah. Trust me, it's true. I was just making jokes so people didn't see I spilled Kool-Aid on my jeans. I was like, nah, hilarious. Don't look over here. So for me, it's about being ready and working really hard. And so the opportunities that I've had are scary and are overwhelming sometimes, but there's nothing like it. The opportunities and the things you get to see and the people you get to meet are unbelievable. So like I said, I feel like I don't deserve to have gotten it, so I'm going to try to deserve to stay.
So one, before we go on to the next question, I think just look around really fast. So you went all over the world for the Hollers, screenings, and otherwise. I just want to ask you one quick question. So what is the favorite city that you've ever lived, been to, visited? And no pressure here. And we know Emily's from Great Britain, so don't say that.
It's 100% Prague. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I don't even think I've been to Prague. And that's a sad thing. If I don't remember, then we were doing some weird stuff in Prague. No, I mean, Boston to me is where I'm from. There's something so incredibly strong about being from Boston. I always remember, even as a kid, you'd travel and you'd go to we went with you because he was such an amazing basketball player. I just drove with mom and dad in the car and had a program. I was like, that's my brother. And then people were like, can you play? And I was like, I'm not very good. I'm not very good, but thank you. But we'd go down to a place like Louisiana, and as a 12-year-old kid or 14-year-old kid, I didn't think anybody knew where I was from. And they were like, where are you from? And I said, Boston. And they were like, oh. And I was like, that's pretty cool. The response is, oh. It's like there's a lot of respect and love for Boston. I think I truly don't know that I've met stronger people, more sort of proud people, and the history here, it's all in the air, and I feel like coming back is so important for me, so I love coming back.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
So again, I think what's amazing about Boston is we've seen it. I think you mentioned Anthony's Pier 4 used to be right here, and the changes happening in Boston are evident. Right, you look at, we always are compared to, San Francisco, Austin, New York, but I think there is, exactly like you said, there is something organic about Boston where we have the institutions, we have the history, we have incredible creative talent, like all of you guys, and I wish we would be able to meet everybody one-on-one because I'm sure you all have a really interesting story, which leads me to my next question, right? One of the things that you do so well is try to, and that's not just because you're my brother, but tell stories.
But I did pay you to say that, so thank you.
Yeah, thanks. The check didn't clear, though. So
no, it did not. We'll talk about it after.
Yeah, can we do that over? Yeah, okay. Is tell great stories, right? I think one of the things that you have always committed yourself to is telling that American story, understanding the cast members, understanding those roles. And so when you're thinking about telling a story, what are the things that you look for as you look to tell that story to the masses, and how do you make that connection with all these different people?
Well, I mean, the truth is I'm a member of the masses, right? So I'm an emotional dude. I know what I love, and I think the thing that connects me, whether it's any sort of creative art, it's that I get moved by something. Something's more than just a spectacle. Something's more than just robots and aliens, though I'll see all those movies as well. But I think it's something that you feel is a part of you, something that you're telling a story either directly to someone or somebody's experienced it. So I think for me, a movie like 13 Hours was something because I come from a big military family. We have, cousins, aunts, and uncles who have served and are currently serving. And so to me, that was it. It wasn't to tell a story. It wasn't to be in a Michael Bay movie. It was for no other reason than when I read the script, I was viscerally moved and just so emotionally connected to the idea of what it takes to be a man or woman that's serving. I got to be a part of this movie. And my hope is that because I'm still a member of the masses who wants to watch all the stuff and see all the stuff, and I hope that you feel moved, you guys all feel moved or connected to something that you saw. I always said about The Office, it wasn't just a funny show. I think the reason why it was so much fun and why hopefully people like it is because it wasn't just a funny show on Thursdays. It was because you had a dude who worked near you that was a weirdo, or your boss was insane, or you were in love with someone at work.
That's a little too close.
No, so or you fell in love with someone at work, or there was something about it that connected you more than the jokes. And if I'm wrong, I could be totally wrong, but for me, I think that's what's so beautiful about storytelling is stories are one thing, but the message that you're trying to tell without hammering people over the head. My thing is the best story you can tell is real life. So you can go as big as you want with all these crazy characters and all that, but really at the end of the day, you got to be something that we can all relate to. Otherwise, I personally don't connect to it in the same way.
Yeah, so we talk about Boston having firsts, and we share this park, this place, this city with the mass fallen heroes here. We have a memorial here, the first of its kind in the United States that really is a salute to the people who have worked for us, have served for us, have died for us on being able to let this creative process happen. And so we had the opportunity before this to meet Chris and his family representing the fallen heroes. So really amazing to see, not only as the Seaport evolves into this really interesting place, that we don't forget about those servicemen and women serving abroad that actually enable us to do that freedom. So to Chris and Mass Fallen Heroes, we really, really appreciate everything that you guys do for the families. Which I think is a good segue. One of the things that you and I talked about over the phone when you were thinking about 13 Hours, and Michael Bay said, hey, you're cast in it. One, I didn't believe for a second that you weren't spending 12 hours a day in the gym. But also, you were really touched by telling that story, and you wanted that authenticity. You wanted the ability to say, hey, having those contractors with you by your side saying, John, that was accurate. They wouldn't have done that. That must have been a really interesting experience. Can you tell us how, one, you take feedback and criticism, and then also, what a role like that meant to you?
Sure. I mean, a role like that meant everything to me because it was so different from anything I had ever done. But most importantly, I had never played someone who represented a real person, certainly not someone who was still living. And so that was a huge responsibility, one that I was absolutely terrified by in the beginning. And then you really, when you really hear what they went through and what the men and women who go through all the time that are serving, that's what I think is so much bigger. It's a much more universal movie because, sure, that's about a specific story, but those stories, which people don't talk about, those stories are happening every single day somewhere, and we don't think about it. We only wait till we see something on CNN or whatever you're watching for your news, and that's not how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be thinking of them all the time. So that I was so emotionally connected to those guys. And it was really important to me to get it right, but to me, for the storytelling of it all. But it was funny because when you said like where did the attack come from, or where were you here, or where were you there, it was very interesting. But to me, getting to have a beer with these guys and hear them talk about their kids and about their wives and about their families that they leave behind and their jobs that they go back to and what they're really proud of, that's to me what the movie was about. That was heroism. That was real people that. These are we have, I keep saying, all these big movies about superheroes, and I was so proud to get to tell a story that we should be telling all the time about our real heroes. And so I think that's what we all connected to that day on, that while we were shooting that.
Yeah, and we'd love to at some point, screen 13 Hours here for a fun. But what was really interesting about that, premiere in Dallas for me was meeting those families and hearing one of the contractors say, hey, we do this so that you can hold your children at night. And it was really just interesting because as a creative person, you sit there and say, wow, like that wouldn't even be possible in certain countries around the world even today. So, all right, so let's make it a little bit lighter on the front of. So did you work out? Everyone wants to know. Did you work out 12 hours a day? And
I didn't work out at all.
What was your diet?
That was just burrito and Dunkin' Donuts. That was
nice.
It. No, I worked out so insanely hard. It is very difficult to get to be like that. So anytime you walk by someone who looks like that, I now know what they're going through, and I just say, good luck with it. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to have some chicken wings and a beer. The thing is, I actually really loved getting in shape because, A, it was pretty awesome as an experience, and definitely I remember one of the things my trainer said was, do you have a scale at home? And I said, yeah. He said, throw it out. And I said, why? And he said, because every time you look in the mirror, you'll know if it's working. And I was like, that's true. And so I just stared at myself in the mirror like all the time. And I was like, do I look exactly like Ryan Reynolds or like almost like Ryan Reynolds? And then I saw Deadpool, and I was like, not like Ryan Reynolds. He's still got it, that son of a bitch. But no, but it was really fun because I actually got into it, and I never thought I'd get into it. I played sports, we played sports as kids all the time, but working out and learning about like biomechanics and all this stuff that you just roll your eyes at, you're like so boring. What it meant for me was I got to pick up my daughters and not get a back spasm. So that was like a huge, I was like, oh, I get it. So we worked this thing out, and now my back doesn't hurt anymore. So I was really into it, and I'm going to have to, I still work out a lot, but I've been taking a little break, thank God, as you can see. Don't respond to that. But I'm going to be going back in to work out all over again for Jack Ryan, which I'm going to be doing soon, which is great.
So
yeah, Clancy fans, I knew they were here.
I
Clancy fans are going to fight the Office fans in about 15 minutes.
Wow, it's going to be like a European soccer match.
Yep, celebrity death match. That's right.
So
Yeah.
As you go back into the workouts, like don't schedule a family vacation, because that was awkward to hear my wife like, wow, well, John looks really good. And I'm like, wow, this is really awkward. We've been married for 14 years, and yes, I've taken a little time off too, but I mean, come on.
And now you know why I really did it. That's why I went to the gym, to have awkward family moments.
And there were a bunch of them. So hold on. I don't know if you guys have all seen Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, and John always references this lawn dart story. So I figured, and I've been I want him to tell you the story because I totally was scarred. He threw a
physically scarred, yeah.
Literally, I had a lawn dart stuck in my head, which I'll let you explain to them. Try to explain to them like how that even happened. And
I'm gonna get him on my side. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's a simple story.
And then again, on my wedding day, he presents me with a lawn dart. Like right when I started to forget, he gave me that on a plaque. Like it was just. So can we just talk about that for a second?
Just so you always know that there's a small chance in the background that could happen again, at any time. Just know it. Because I'm the youngest brother, so youngest brother of 3. My oldest brother is a saint. He's a saint. This one was the devil. And basically what it was is Kev was just studious and a kind kid, and Paul was insane. And one day I was playing with some action figures. I believe they were G.I. Joe. They might have been a combination of 2 things, because if you take... doesn't matter. If you take orthodontic rubber bands, you can connect like Star Wars figures with G.I. Joe figures. These guys get it. So I was playing with some figures with a friend. He came over, and the quote was he was walking with his friend. He said, "Watch this," and then just went and beat me up completely.
It didn't quite happen like that.
I was crying. I cry very easily. That's not like a big thing. But I was crying, and I was reaching around for anything I could throw at my brother, and I thought I was going to throw like a Millennium Falcon at him or something like that, and it happened to be a lawn dart. And I just grabbed it. I wiped the dirt off of it, make sure it was sanitary. And then I just launched it in the air thinking, this is just a threatening. Did it go in his head? It did. Oh, my God. And it went right in his head, and he ran around the lawn like this. And secretly I was like, oh, my God, this is the worst day ever. Oh, my God, that was awesome. That was awesome. It was a big day for me. I felt proud. As soon as I knew you weren't dead, I felt very proud. Felt very proud of myself.
Yeah, so Dad, being a doctor, was like, are you crazy? Are you insane? He was almost a quadriplegic, which even today I don't understand what that really means. But so you got your licks in every so often.
Yep.
But so one of the things that I think is really interesting is as you looked at the transition, a lot of times.
Oh, Gronk is coming. Perfect.
Yeah. Actually, Gronk's in the back. Is that Julian Edelman? Brady, you're not supposed to be talking to them. Is as you make the transition from The Office to 13 Hours and then to Jack Ryan, which we'll talk about in a moment, how do you make that transition? I think it's similar to startups and new businesses. What you ultimately start out as is not what you finish up as, and not necessarily what you thought you would be. So can you talk about some of those shifts and turns, and where you labeled Jim and then you evolved? Like what was the feel there?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was a waiter before I got The Office. So to be labeled Jim, I've talked about it before, but it'll always be one of the biggest honors I have, because what that means is that you, A, watched the show, you, B, cared about the show enough that you, felt some sort of connection to it, and C, you cared about my character in specific enough to know me as that person and like me as that person. I feel bad for Rainn Wilson and some other people in the show, but like the likable dude, I was like, I'll take it. No, I mean, it's the greatest experience I'll ever have in my career, and I know that. I'll have really exciting things happen, hopefully, but there's nothing like that family that I had on that show. Truly, I mean, I moved out to L.A., and, as we've been talking about, I'm an East Coast kid, and I think moving out there was a big shock, and I was really nervous about it. I didn't love it, and so to have that family was so much more than a television show for me. That cast and that crew became a huge support system and a wonderful experience that I'll never be able to have something that special again, and I know that, but I find that such a treasure that I can hold on to. So then moving past that, the show gave me every single opportunity I've had since. So again, like I said before, I think with any business, you hope that you can continue to get bigger and try new things. And for me, I think that if you're not scared, then you're probably not pushing yourself all the way in certain moments, So for me, 13 hours, like when I got the script and then I decided to go in for the audition, by the time I went in for the audition, I said, I want to do it. If I get it, I want to do it. But reading and preparing for the audition, I was really nervous because it's very different from anything I had ever done, but there was something that I really wanted to try, a story that I've really wanted to do. And at the end of the day, it sounds super obnoxious, but it's true. I think that you have to stop one day and just say, can you do it? Can you really do it? And I said, yes, I can. I know I can do it. I want to give it a shot. So that's how it's got to be. I think that level of fear means that you're onto something exciting. And the other thing which was one of the best things about that theater school, their motto is risk, fail, and risk again. And I think that that's kind of the key to all of it, right? Knowing that failure is absolutely an option. This idea that failure is not an option is pretty stupid because the only way you're going to get better is if you do fail and you get back up. I mean, it sounds like we're doing a Hallmark Channel show, but it's true. And I think that's really where you learn who you are and what you can do and keep giving it a different try.
And so I bought a bus. Some people were like, what's up with the bus? And they thought it was a midlife crisis, but we're doing some cool stuff out here together, right?
Absolutely, so yeah.
I was very afraid.
Is it a midlife crisis, though? Guys, just block your ears for a second.
Yeah,
Are you okay?
Yeah. Earmuffs. No, it was great. Ashley, my wife, was overly supportive. I left a job starting, in August and put all chips in, right? And the reason that I think was interesting about that is
Which is awesome, by the way.
Yeah,
it's very hard to do in your life, and I gotta say I love him so much for doing that. That's such a huge inspiration to me to see him just go all in on something like this. So I love him for it.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. So two things that, one, my CFO said, that's poor timing, poor judgment, poor decision making. So early on in your CEO career, good luck with that. And then Ashley said, please don't ever drive that through the streets of Milton. Other than that, I'm supportive. So as
this will be in your driveway in December, right? Perfect. Yeah. Okay, good. There's an agreement.
Well,
Perfect.
no, we have an agreement with WS through November, but then I don't know. It might actually be. So definitely call WS and say, keep the bus.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, sorry, Dick. So I think one of the things too, evolving into, like you said, being someone who was not well known. You could go to the movies. Now, even when I'm with you, we can't go to Starbucks together at times without people talking about it. That puts you in a really interesting position for connecting with people, communicating messages that you find important. How have you kind of leveraged that new role, that evolution of your life, into really doing things that are good for causes, for people, for human progress?
Great question. I mean, I think the end game is help at all costs, anytime you can. If you can raise awareness for anything that means something to you or to somebody else, do it. Because really, at the end of the day, there's no point in all this and being known or being able to be Jim if you can't help other people. There's no point in doing this. So I'm still learning. I want to learn how to maximize that impact that I have or to ask. I think my big thing for anybody who knows me or follows me on Twitter or anything like that is I try to be very genuine. I try to not tell you guys about things that don't really matter to me, because I hope that when I tell you something that you know it matters. So we just did a couple weeks back, we did the 22 push-up challenge, which was a huge deal to raise awareness for veterans who are committing suicide, which is just such a huge deal. And it was something that's something that if I can help in any way, and then you look for things where you can be more involved. And so, right now I'm talking to a bunch of people about starting a foundation that I can be the lead of and actually move forward with. So it's something that I'm learning to do. But you were saying earlier about collaboration and ideas. I've learned from the best people in this business that I've transferred into life. The best idea, in our business, the best idea has to end up on screen. And I feel that the best idea in life has to happen. So if there's something I can be doing better anywhere, I hope somebody can tell me. And I always want people around me who can tell me no. I don't really care about the people who tell me yes. I guess a couple people around telling me yes would be nice. But for me, it's a learning experience. And I want to definitely focus any attention I can wherever I can, for sure.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we all can take away from this is just the idea of doing something, diving in with both feet, right? So I know it took a village of villages to get this bus, this stage in Boston, but if it wasn't for, my co-founders, my wife, WS believing in me and saying, I don't think that we can get this many people out on the seaport, but we believe in you and we believe in that vision. Dive in, like really commit yourself to something. So when I call John, and I do it rarely, and I say, hey, the number one cause of bankruptcy in America is children who are diagnosed with cancer, and those families literally fall off the cliff. John said, I'm there. We will be there for Family Reach Foundation that literally is solving the financial crisis of cancer. Those are the types of things. So even though we might not all be on shows or on network television or on Twitter with 1.6 million followers, we all have our place. And it was really interesting because Mike Slaby, President Obama's Chief Innovation Officer, as I said in the opening, get involved, right? We have the power, which is it's the people's economy, right? Everyone wants to hear from us. And you guys have such incredible dynamic qualities, and why I started this business was to show those qualities, to spotlight innovation and creativity in Boston. And so definitely get involved, which I think you've done a great job with. So let's spin to one last question for me, and then we're actually going to open it up for you guys. So I know we're going to have a wireless mic for sure.
Someone better beatbox on that wireless mic. I'm just telling you.
Could you beatbox?
Don't hold the
just real fast.
Mine's not wireless. Oh. I've got a.
Can we get him a wireless
mic? Dodged a bullet there.
Working with such great talent, right? One of the things that I thought was really interesting is 23 years old, you grow up on The Office, and at 25, 26, you're working with George Clooney, Renee Zellweger. So when you start dealing with those types of things, you talk about risk, you talk about a little bit of fear. How do you walk into a room like that as an early on in your career, and we'll talk about the shift now, and persuade them, hey, I've got a good idea, you should follow what I'm highlighting here. And do they say, hey, beat it, kid, we got this covered? Or how did you kind of break into that conversation? Because I think that's really important for all of the young people to know you have, again, incredible power in the workplaces, in the cultures that you guys drive. So I'd love to get your advice too for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I said, like a moment, you take a moment like doing Leatherheads with George Clooney. That was, truly paralyzed with fear. I was so scared about doing that because as much as you imagine, we were early days in The Office. I was very young, and I truly had never experienced. I didn't know what Hollywood was. They shot Cheers once here, and I was like, Hollywood's in Boston. That's all I know. They did like an exterior of Cheers, and I was like, that's all I'll ever need to know about Hollywood. But for me, I think that's a perfect example of what you were talking about. Is it's a do or die moment, right? So if I was bad in that movie or in the first few scenes, he would recast me. That's exactly what happens. So you have to just jump in, and the way I keep saying it, which I think you said it too, is it's funny because I talk about it in my business the same way, is you've got to jump in both feet because as an actor, I was waiting tables and I was doing all these things, but in my head I said if I ever get a chance, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it hard. And if I don't get a chance. In 2.5, 3 years, you know, I had made a promise to Mom. I said I'll pull myself out of it, because that was the one thing my mom asked. She said, give acting a chance, but if 2.5, 3 years, if there's nothing happens, you got to pull yourself out of it, because the one thing you can't ask a mother to do is ask her kid to give up on his dreams. And I thought that was a really profound invitation for me to take. And I actually did call her. And 2.5 years later, I called her and I said, you're right. It's not working out. I'm not going to do it. I did a couple commercials. I thought, you know, I went really hard, both feet, gave it everything I had, got fired from like 9 jobs because I was like, I'm going to go do an audition. And they were like, we don't care. And so I called my mom and I said, I'm out. I'm going to be done. And it was September. And I think it was around September. And she said, oh, it's September. Just wait till the end of the year. Just give it till the end of the year. And 3 weeks later, I got the office. So if my mom had let me quit, it's true. So I think you got to go in all the way. And I think that, you know, sitting on the sidelines is fun if you're watching. But if you want to play, play. And it's two different things, you know. And I think that it's scary. And you find out very fast if you're doing a good enough job. But like I said, it's okay sometimes if you don't get there the first time, or maybe the first 2 times you do and then the third time you fall. It's okay, because you're learning so much more about what you can do, and then the next time you can do it better.
One of the things, and this will be my last question, I promise, and then we'll open it up.
You said that last time.
Any
You've just
questions?
lied to all these people.
Look, no one has a hand up. I'm going to ask another question. No, so I think one of the things that with any creative person, you get sucked into your idea, your concept, whether it's a script, whether it's a movie, whether it's a company. Clearly, you have an amazing wife. You definitely married up. And 2 beautiful baby girls. And I think one of the questions is, and we deal with this a lot now with technology and always on and commenting and liking and tweeting, is how do you balance that? And I think it's really important for all of us to understand, and I'm still working on it certainly, is how do you balance your personal life with your work life, and how do you make the right time? And is that something that you have to actually make a concerted effort to do?
Yeah, sure. It takes work to be there when you need to be there, but for me, it's never been a question. I mean, we grew up in the greatest family in the world, and so family since I was a kid was everything. And so now going home is everything. So, you know, what I do at work is really fun because I know I get to go home and have the best time of my life. So when I go out there and do whatever I'm doing, all I'm thinking about is getting home. And that support system in specific, the way that Emily's been incredibly supportive of everything I've done, I know that I would not have the career I have if I hadn't met her, because I just wouldn't have been pushed the way that she allowed me to be everything I want to be. And then these girls are just life-changing for me. So I get to go home and be a part of something that's everything for me. That's where I want to be, and that's where I get all my fuel to go out and do it. So to me, it's not about balance. It's about how do I make sure that is always going to be the most strong place for me. And yeah, there are times that, you know, when you go on shoots, when I was shooting 13 Hours, Emily was shooting a movie called Into the Woods, and I flew home. I flew from, you know, Malta to London every single weekend. On Friday we wrapped around 5 a.m. I was on a 6:30 flight. I landed at 10, saw Emily and Hazel for 36 hours, got back on a flight and went. And it was exhausting, but there was no other alternative. So yeah, there are times where you have to work harder and make sure you get there. But then the times when you don't have to work that hard, you realize that this is what life's all about.
Yeah, no, it's great. And I think it's really important for all of us as we think about, you know, those families, whether that's your core family or your work family, like really cherish those relationships, because I think those are the ones that in the stress and the fast pace of life, we kind of forget. So I would just say, you know, enjoy the moment. So now, I don't know how this is going to work, but we're actually going to do this, which is we're going to take questions from the audience, and I promise that we'll do it in a fashion that's relatively easy. Is it wireless mics, or can we just yell it out? All right, so you with the glasses. No, not you, the woman, but no, just kidding. Go ahead. Can you?
Very smart of you to stand by a big blue tree. That's how you got noticed so fast. You have literally lit by Christmas lights. Hey. Hey, Carly.
Northeastern in the house, by the way.
You just heard my uncle go, Northeastern. Perfect.
It's a hockey stick.
That's right.
sounds way too smart, so you got to say it. We don't understand.
How are you, as an influential person in our society, really taking a stand towards this major issue that we're facing that's going to impact so many people? Or maybe you haven't started, but what are some things that you can do?
I don't believe it's real. I'm kidding. I do. I mean,
God.
I need a little bit more information, but it sounds like it's real. No, it's a great question. I mean, you're absolutely right. That's a perfect example of I'm still learning in truth. I'm learning. I definitely lead by example. I try to anything I can participate in my actual life of decreasing my footprint, whether it's a hybrid car or anything like that. So I have to lead by example if I'm going to say, like, everybody should have hybrid cars. But then the other thing is, to me, what's been most important is there are going to be hundreds of changes and different things that are going to happen, and that's fantastic. But what you're talking about is the most important thing, which is I've been a part of a bunch of different, nights or events where different people have gotten together to have this conversation and to talk about it and to talk about what we can do more. And those conversations are the most important thing, I think, because at the end of the day, sure, if you have a business that has enough money to now diversify into solar panels or something like that, that's going to be awesome. But what can I do? And I think that's the biggest thing for me in present day. I mean, with all the technology and all the social media we have, I grew up saying, what can I do? You know what I mean? Like, whether it's poverty or any of these stories that I was hearing as a kid on the news or reading about, it was like, well, what can I do? Now I don't think we have an excuse. I mean, we can all talk to each other. We can all get people invigorated. And you have to lead by example. You can't wait till you raise, however much money on Kickstarter before you go do it. You've got to go do it, and then people see you do it, and then 5 people do it with you, then 10 people do it with you, and then 1,000 people do it with you. And then you can actually turn the cameras around and say, we did this. Not, wouldn't it be awesome if we did this? You have to just do it and say, we're doing this, and you can do it too. So.
Yeah, and one thing I would say is just really having the people around you that are as persuasive, way smarter than you. My dad always said that, surround yourself with great people. He probably knew I wasn't that smart. And then also really, like, we put on the bus.
That's what I was there for.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like, at least you got your brother who's great.
I was answering the question, dude.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, just kidding. We literally said here, like, the process that we go through every time. It doesn't matter if it's climate change. It doesn't matter if we are addressing, gang violence in the city, which, again, Boston has done a great job not having a major incident in Boston, which I think is exciting. But we try to connect people, right? We assemble them together like this. And again, I thought we were all making change, but I'm now learning that you guys are here to see John. Cool. We try to inspire people. So what I try to do every day is inspire young people like you. Be an expert, right? Be that person and let me be your mouthpiece and let John be your mouthpiece, and then accelerate change. Like, you need to find a way to move faster, right? So I sat with the Family Reach Foundation. I said, listen, this idea is that's going to come out of this room today. And it was literally families becoming bankrupt due to a diagnosis of cancer. I said, it's not going to come from the health insurance companies. It's not going to come from big pharma. It's definitely not going to come from the government. You need to change it here. And that's exciting, because then I was able to drop the mic. I didn't have to be an expert, which we all can't be. And we made that happen together. And they had tremendous momentum. So I think it's your ability, and don't worry about your age, your background, your status, how much money you have, because I can tell you can definitely lead change without that. All of those things. All right, we're going to come over here. All right, with the hat here, Boston University.
Yes.
Wow, do you guys know
dude,
this dude?
When you get that mic, just drop it.
Yeah.
People just went bonkers for you.
You know what? Tip your waiter. You're
that
here
was like
all weekend.
Beatlemania.
I swear to God, I'm not that popular.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are now.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Joe Hemphill.
Joe?
Yes.
Joe's your man, guys. Yes.
Also, Joe's buying beer after this at Gather.
For everyone. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
Joe, don't get obnoxious, okay? Jeez.
I'm sorry.
I was there for you, and then you just got to be a real jerk.
I got called popular by Jim Halpert, so I mean. So directing is this huge undertaking, and when you pick a project, you have to be so passionate about it, you have to go all in. And so I was wondering what drew you to The Hollers, and whether it was something personal, something you relate to in your own family life, or...
Great question. I mean, to me, The Hollers was one of these amazing things where I come from a very loving, communicative family, and this family in The Hollers is not that. And yet there's something that I related to when I got to the end of the script. I said, that's my family. And they're nothing like my family in practice, but what they were doing was something that I thought, like I said earlier, it's something we can all relate to. So I'm lucky enough to have a family where the channels of communication and love are exposed and working every day. But a lot of people don't have that. And a lot of people, I love that the movie's about a family who's trying again. And I think that that's such a beautiful thing to think about, especially in a world that's, pretty dramatic. It's nice to have things simple and strong like family that you can always go back to. One of my favorite things was, recently a guy said, oh my God, I love this movie. If I had a better relationship with my mom, I'd call her. And I said, you can. Just give her a call. And he did. And that was awesome. Like, that's the reason why I wanted to make the movie, because I think family's so important. And to me, the cool take on it was, if I told a story about a perfect family, that would be pretty boring, and it's hard to relate to. But if I told a story about a seemingly broken family and a flawed family, well, we're all broken and flawed in some way. And so the fact that these people are making an attempt to move forward and try again, I thought that's the way you talk about family, is as the thing you're trying to attain. And then we can all do it.
Right. I didn't know, maybe like the lawn dart in the head kind of inspired that kind of
Hey.
Yeah.
That was your one question.
All right, so
To be fair, I was looking for a lawn dart story, and they just hadn't written one yet, so I did The Hollers.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, we're gonna go like way in the back. Yes, on the.
Hi, there's a group of us. We're BFA students at Boston University studying.
Yes! You can tell by that projection voice. God, just getting into the back row.
Just had my voice and speech movement at 5.
Nice.
Wow.
So,
It's working.
we really wanted to know, what advice do you have to give to young college students in the theater program when the going gets tough and you just think that you can't do it anymore?
That's a great question. Did everybody hear the question? Okay, God. You really take after Joe on this side. Real obnoxious. I think that it really is, the going is going to get tough. I experienced it so much less than everyone else that I knew that experienced it, but it was tough. And what I loved about it is realize that what you're doing right now with these people that you just highlighted, that's the reason you're going to be great when your time comes, is because you love it and you love being with these people. If you told me right now, how are you, what's your advice on getting famous, I'd have nothing to tell you. But if you are asking my advice on loving something, it is going to get tough, and the love of the people around you and what you're doing is the reason why you're going to get through it. And really, when you're around those people, you're doing stuff that you love and that you're very, very passionate about. That's going to come out. I mean, you can see in any movie or play or whatever, when they really cared and there was something more there than just the story, that's what makes it special. So for me, just make sure you love it and keep checking in with yourself that you love it, and keep hanging out with these people because it's obviously going well. Oh, Jack.
Jack. That's awesome. And that was
Jack,
Jack's
how much
question.
do your shoulders hurt right now? That's why I worked out for 13 hours, so that my shoulders wouldn't hurt when I carried a girl on my shoulders.
About not giving advice on being famous, because we have heard so many times in our classes that if you want to get famous, you shouldn't be here right now. It's about the art and the work that you're putting in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good job, guys.
Awesome.
Now get back to class. You skipped it for this.
Yeah, seriously. This is Facebook live stream, so your professor is seeing that you're here. All right. I got you in the stripe. I can't reach. My cord doesn't go that right there next to you.
You got it.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome.
Why does my voice sound like that? Oh my God, it's awful.
Your voice sounds great.
Who said that?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you wanted John to say it.
No.
John, say it.
No, it doesn't
John,
matter.
just say it.
It doesn't matter.
Your voice sounds great.
I'm gonna. Oh, my voice is my name is Andreina. Okay. What I wanted to say, first of all, I'm referencing the mass fallen heroes.
So I know about the 22 push-up challenge, and I'm a little vexed and pissed because y'all put like some Justin Timberlake song and like it's like he's Gandhi or whatever, right? And I don't like that because he hasn't done his 22 push-ups and he's been, challenged or whatever, and he has not done his 22 push-ups. And he is losing my respect very, very fast.
I will text him right now.
Thank you. Tell him, Andreina.
Justin,
Tell him,
you've got someone very
tell him,
upset in Boston.
Andreina said that. And
I will tell him. Yeah.
he's
I'll also
pissing
tell him
me
you
off.
said he was Gandhi because he's gonna be like,
No,
I'm Gandhi.
he's not Gandhi.
He's not
You know,
Gandhi.
Gandhi was a Libra. And
I gotta
Libras
get it right
are
before I
awesome.
text him.
No. Libras are awesome.
Thank
know?
you. I'm a Libra.
Oh, see, that's why so we have the same horoscope. The other thing, my beloved art high school teacher, he said he played basketball with your brother. I don't know if it's this one because he said basketball.
Who's that? He probably beat me. That's not fair.
He's Ari Hobbin. I don't know if you know who.
Oh yeah,
Ari
I know
Hobbin,
Ari
yeah.
Hobbin. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know Ari Hobbin
Oh
too.
my God! So he wasn't lying.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
wasn't lying.
So
y'all know him?
Yes.
Oh, I know
Oh.
him. Yeah, we know him well.
And he's a great. Actually,
Used to
in
live on
fairness,
Paul Street right near Crystal Lake. How well
That
do you
is
know Newton?
Huh?
I'm kidding.
No, I don't know Isaac
Sorry,
Newton.
I'm texting Justin under.
Yeah, text him.
I'm
Say him.
distracted. I'm
if
sorry.
If he wants to tweet me, it's Andy ANDIE 106. I'm literally like he's pissing me off. So tell him to
check your smartphone. He just tweeted straight up.
No, he didn't. I need to know this. I need to know. I'm serious. And the other thing, I really want to write a screenplay. I really, really want to write a screenplay, and I have a really good idea. Okay, I want to write a screenplay. I have a really good idea, and I was wondering, how do it like when I want to pitch it? I want to pitch it. I'm dead serious. I really want to make the screenplay. So if you have any advice.
My advice would be: have you written it yet, or is this the idea?
No, I don't know how to write a screenplay though. I went to a
You just want to pitch the idea for the movie?
Huh?
You just want to pitch an idea for a movie?
Well, yeah, but privately, I don't want, because then people are gonna,
People are gonna steal it.
Yeah, exactly.
Justin's gonna steal it.
He needs.
This Timberlake guy needs to be stopped.
No, I'm sorry. This is.
That's what I've learned tonight.
This is the This is the last thing. I love you, John. You're
thank
you're
you.
awesome.
Take that, Justin.
Thank you.
You're
Awesome.
awesome.
Thank you very much.
so much.
Appreciate
You're
it.
All right,
awesome.
we're gonna go to the middle area. There's a guy right in the. Is it a white shirt? I'm so sorry. The lights are there.
My question is one that is very important to everyone here. It's about the greatest person of all time. No offense. Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're allowed to say that.
Yeah.
I remember at Michigan, I saw that face, and I said, God, look at that face.
Oh, can we?
That was before he was even a Patriot, so I know all about it. Yeah? What's the question?
How many touchdowns did he throw this season, and who catches them? Who catches the most?
Are you asking about this season?
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing up my clairvoyant thing that I have. No one ever asked about that, and I'm going to tell you. You want to know how many touchdowns he's going to throw?
How much touchdown do you think he's going to throw?
Excuse me. I know for a fact. Okay?
Okay.
Well, I think this weekend, there's, no, not this weekend, next weekend.
Yeah.
It'll be, you want to go game by game, or how do we want to do
We can
this?
start like then Cleveland, and then you just do the rest of the season.
This guy definitely works for DraftKings.
Seriously,
I am a
you
fantasy
have like an
champion.
over-under on this, or?
I'll bet with you right now.
All right, what do you think? How many do you think he's going to
Against
throw?
Cleveland, they suck. He's getting 8 touchdowns this weekend, I guess.
He's getting 8 touchdowns?
8. Are you crazy? He's going to go crazy.
I mean, I'm not
on
laughing.
them.
Of course he's getting 8 touchdowns.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
yeah.
I
And
think
who's he
they're
going to throw him to? I think he'll go 2 to Gronk.
2 to Bennett.
Hold on a second. He's going to do 3 to Edelman.
Yeah.
And then, you know what? He might just run it in 4 times, because then that's 8, right? Just
No, you got to give it to Hogan, too.
Yeah, okay,
He's
fine.
always
Yeah, we'll
open.
throw Hogan in there, too.
Yeah.
All right. Are we bet?
Cool.
So now when
Are we
do
done?
I collect my money?
Oh, sorry. You lost that battle, by the way. Lip sync battle. Oh no, not now, not now.
Right now?
All right. Oh, you. Sorry. We'll go right here. First of all, hold on one second. I want to just show this to everybody. This
Oh, sick.
is amazing.
That is awesome. That is really amazing.
Did you do that?
I did, yeah.
Oh my God.
No,
that's
you
awesome.
don't get to ask a question. I just, I'm kidding. That's awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Of
Imagine if
course.
you were like, you can't keep that.
Yeah, I'll
You're
give
like,
it
no,
back.
that's
I want it
mine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Gosh, I feel like I just won a Dundee like getting this. I'm very excited.
Yes. What's a Dundee? I'm kidding. That would be awful.
I think it's the thing from some show.
Some show, yeah.
I don't know. Oof. Okay.
You're doing great. You drew me. You're already like here in my books.
Hi. My name's Tamar, and I'm a high school student. So I wanted to ask you if you could talk to yourself from high school for like a short conversation. What would you say?
Wow.
That's awesome.
My brain just exploded. I got to be honest. It would have nothing to do with what's going on right now in my life. It would have everything to do with college. To me, I would have told myself, because I was really scared for a really long time, that it wouldn't get any better. By the way, I had a great high school. I loved it. But I wasn't the coolest kid. I wasn't the best player in anything. I just felt like I couldn't fit in. I didn't really know where my place was. And I wish I could have told myself, unequivocally, that when you get to college, it's fantastic. Not even college, but when you get out of high school and you start being surrounded by the people that you love and love you, you're going to get to be this person that you don't even know you are yet. I had never seen a independent film. I hadn't seen anything that wasn't in a major movie theater. I hadn't listened to anything that wasn't on the radio. And so my college education, as much as the education's great, my real college education was all my friends that I now met introduced me to. I asked them to give me a CD and a movie every single week. So like 5 or 6 people gave me a new. Remember CDs? You don't. Okay.
What's that?
But they did, and so this education that I got, I realized who I really was. I never knew that I was an artist. I never knew that I loved these things, and so I got to be the person that I always dreamt I would be, and be accepted by a group of people who loved me, and I loved them back. So I wish I could have told myself, like, don't worry, it's coming, and it would have saved me a whole lot of being scared.
Wow, great. Good question.
Thank you so much. I love you.
Absolutely.
And I think, here, I'm going to give this back. So this is amazing, but she wants it back.
Yeah, I was going to say,
are you
what
sure?
Are you doing?
I thought you said
That's
you wanted-
mine.
Hey, man.
Jeez, Tamar,
easy. You get a
jeez.
lawn dart. Wait, so I've heard that there might be a birthday over here? Happy birthday.
Thank you.
So
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Get ready for this. This is going to be embarrassing. Happy birthday to you. What's your name? What's your name? Happy Amanda.
birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Amanda.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh my goodness.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
It better be a good question.
I'm like shaking.
No, just
right
kidding.
now.
Don't shake. It's all good.
Okay, so I'm a theater student.
Nice.
Yeah, and I was just wondering, I'm shaking so hard right now. Oh my
You're doing
gosh.
great.
I'm just wondering what your best audition you ever been to was and what your worst audition you've ever been to was.
Great question. I think my worst audition is when I had read somewhere that the character had an accent, and the casting director at the end of it was like, "That was really interesting. Where are you from?" And I said, "I'm from Boston." And she said, "Oh, I thought so. What were you doing?" Did not get that role.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. My best audition, I gotta say, it might have been The Office for one major reason, which was if you've heard the story, I'm very sorry. But basically, when I got called back to be in the pool of gyms, first of all, it was so weird to see like 6 dudes looking just like you. And then I was the 7th guy, and those first 6 guys went in, and then everybody it was at NBC in New York, so there's a lot of people working there. They all left and went and got sandwiches and salads. And I was like, oh, just one more? And they were like, we'll do it when we come back. And I was like, perfect. So I sat there terrified, and we came back, and a guy sat right across from me, and he said, are you nervous? And I said, no, you either get these or you don't. But what I'm really nervous about is, I mean, us Americans, we screw up all these great British shows, and this is just going to be a disaster for whoever does it. And he's like, my name's Greg Daniels. I'm creating the show. And I'm not kidding. I almost threw up on his shoes. Like, I was like, don't do it. And I went out in the hallway, and I was like, I'm just going to. And I think I just said random words. I was like, water fountain, gonna walk. And he was like, oh, great. And when I went in, he had obviously told everybody the story. So 8 people were laughing in my face. But that energy is why I literally had nothing left to lose. So I just gave it. And to this day, he says it's the reason why I got the part.
Thank
Thank you.
Cool. Happy birthday.
Thank you
Happy
so
That's
birthday.
awesome.
Thank you so much.
All right, we're gonna go way in the back over here. We're waving too. Hey, we see you, all the way in the back. Can you project or no? Yell it, scream it like you were. Go. Up, the mic's coming. It's making its way. Sorry. Can you make it? Can you make it? Was that a beatbox?
Wait, did someone beatbox? Or was that Voldemort? What the heck was that? That was insane.
You got it? Are we out
Got
there?
it. I don't know if it's on. I'm gonna yell anyway.
Yes, go.
You're doing great.
So, I'm sorry. I'm probably gonna be a dick for asking this, but
Well, when you frame
will
it that way, you
please
already
come-
are.
Will you please come to the Poorhouse on Boylston this weekend for brunch? We
This
work there.
weekend?
Yes.
This weekend, I have 2 birthday parties.
I don't believe
for
you.
Wow.
My 2.5-year-old hates you right now. No,
You could
unfortunately, I
bring
can't do it.
them.
I'm going to children's birthday parties.
Okay.
Not my own kids. I'm a clown, and so I don't. That's awful. That's not even. I'm scared of myself just saying that. Thank you for the invite. I love the Poorhouse. I've spent many nights there that I may or may not remember. So,
All right, so we're gonna take one right here. Wait, no, just behind.
Someone opened an umbrella. That was amazing.
We'll do both. Go ahead.
Hey, so I'm Kelsey. So hey,
Hey,
how's it
Kelsey.
going? Hey. Oh yeah, I'm also from Suffolk. Amanda over there. Hey.
Suffolk's in the house.
I'm actually doing costumes for Amanda over there. So doing
Amazing.
costumes for a show. But I was actually talking about because I know you did the 22 push-up challenge, and you're trying to like raise awareness and everything like that too. And I don't know, Paul, have you done the 22 push-up challenge
oh,
Are we doing this
But-
right here?
Because
it's
I'm
on
wondering-
Facebook Live. You can turn it down.
Hey, I'll do it when Justin Timberlake does it.
Well,
Ooh.
I was actually gonna ask if you guys and me could all do the 22 push-up challenge right now to spread awareness for the veterans that are also like not only here in Boston but also throughout the entire United States and the rest of the world.
I'm down.
Wow. Let's do it. Come
Yeah?
up here.
All right.
Paul, don't worry. They don't have to be all at once.
Wait, so was it 2? Was it 2 push-ups?
Should we do like 22
Wait,
together? Or
it's 2?
yeah, we're doing it.
Yeah.
All right. You're in the middle, though.
All right. All right. Ready?
Woo! Does that count as our workout?
That was impressive.
That really hurt.
That better have
That
been the
really,
last
really
question
hurt.
because I am in trouble.
Yeah, me too. All right, we're going to do 2 more questions. What's that? Oh, I promised this guy. Sorry. Nice. Sorry.
Hi.
Thanks, Ashley. This is what wives are for. See, support, family.
My name's Grady. I also go to Suffolk University.
Wow.
Yes.
Joe, how do you feel now? Suffolk's just overwhelming BU right now. Oh, God, I'm sorry. That was just for Joe, not everybody
John,
else.
Hey, John, welcome to Boston.
That's right.
This question is for my friend Jenna in the back on a bench somewhere. She said she wants to know if there's an aspect of like television or film that you haven't done yet that you'd really want to try, like a character or genre or something.
Yeah, good question. You know what's weird? I think I've always wanted to do something in the... I'm still winded.
Me too.
Can you hear it? I'm trying to be like, well, in the thumb of the thing, but my lung capacity just went down. I think that I can't watch scary movies because I am just way too much of a scaredy cat, but I kind of want to be in one. Yeah. That's what I want to do. I think I want to be in a scary movie.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Wow.
Perfect.
All right, so
Grady,
we're
you're a good
gonna
friend.
do. I'm so sorry. This is horrible. I hate being in this position. All right, we're gonna do. The Dunder Mifflin shirt.
Nice.
Sorry, Brittany.
I'm kind of going to set the bar low with the questions on this one. I'm so sorry. But
I forgot the question.
All right,
Wow,
moving on,
you
over
weren't kidding.
here.
You did set the bar incredibly low.
So, is there any, like, with the movies you've done aside from The Office or ahead of The Office, is there any time you just found yourself, like, looking at the camera? Like, with the gym face?
You know, you know what's funny about that? So
you gotta do
the
it.
director of a movie called License to Wed. That was my first major movie I had ever done. He was the director of The Office, so he cast me in the movie, and I think he said it was 3 times before he actually told me. And supposedly I was looking down the barrel of the camera in the middle of scenes with like Mandy Moore and Robin Williams, and he just took me aside very kindly and just said, "John, you're going to want to not do that anymore." And so I haven't since. Do it. Do it. Do a gym face to 800 cameras. So it's the last time you'll ever see it. Kidding.
Well, wait, hold on a second, though. It was trending on Twitter yesterday. I don't know if you saw Bill Maher said Hillary Clinton did a better Jim Halpern than you did.
I think maybe he's right. She was really rocking it last night.
She was rocking it. All right, we're going to do 2 more, and then we're going to wrap, okay? So we'll do, let's do, right here. Yeah, right here. You in the Dunder Mifflin shirt. Oh, my God. That's a bummer.
Was like your main inspiration for going into the film industry?
Wow. Great question. I was a huge fan growing up. My dad was a big fan. He would introduce us to older movies, and I remember I loved Frank Capra movies. So there was something about Frank Capra movies that I thought were very, like I said, there was something I connected to, even though, as a younger person, I still connected to certain things like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington or, It's a Wonderful Life and stuff like that. So I don't know. Those movies were pretty great. I'd say that as an actor, I think Paul Newman has to be my favorite actor of all time. I think that guy does it or did it better than anybody else for me. There was something so real. I just believed that he was that person in every time. So I will try to be a quarter as good as Paul Newman in the rest of my career. But yeah, that's an answer to your question. You got it.
Okay, great. So we got one last question. How about right here in the glasses? And don't say you have a Dunder Mifflin shirt on. I'll feel really bad. All right. So hold on. We're gonna get you a mic. Let me guess. You're from Suffolk.
Emerson.
Oh,
Boom!
Emerson in the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
My name is Rose, and I first want to say I've been a huge fan of yours. Ugh.
That's how big a fan of mine you are.
Yes.
Was that a beatbox?
That was awesome.
It can be. Since I was in 4th grade. So right now this is an honor. So thank you.
Wow, thank you. I feel super old now. You're like.
I'm a junior. I'm a junior now. So
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
I don't feel that old then again. But
in film production.
sweet.
So you were talking about before about giving people shots and how you were saying just give me that shot.
Mm-hmm.
Would you want to give me that shot?
What do you do in film production?
I'm in documentary production, which is a lot of cinematography and post production. And I was wondering, one, do you have anyone that has that specifically gave you that shot you asked for?
As an actor or in?
Will you just direct your first film? So anything behind the scenes, or as your first shot as an actor?
Yeah, certainly my first shot as an actor, my real shot was The Office. But I think directing, I don't know, that was one of those weird things where I decided to do it myself. I was like, what I should do is direct a movie myself. And I directed my first movie out of pure ignorance, just being like, this can't be that hard. And then at the end of it, I realized how incredibly hard it was. So going into directing The Haulers, I sort of saw the minefield and was able to navigate it rather than just prancing through it like an idiot. I sort of took a chance on myself being a director. But again, it had a lot to do with The Office. As far as getting that shot, what do you want to do in post-production?
I do a lot of nonlinear.
What's your dream, though? Like, what do you want to do? What it would be like?
My dream would edit for large budget movies or do my own like documentaries where I get to like where I do get to like direct or edit and like cinematography. I really like to get my hands like deep into the work that I'm passionate about.
Right on.
Yes.
Will you give your card to him, and then he'll give the card to me, and we'll talk about something?
Yes.
Right on.
Thank
you got it.
That's awesome. I love that.
And can you fulfill my 4th grade dream and hug me?
What's that?
Can you fulfill my 4th grade dream and give me a hug?
Only if it's your 4th grade dream. If it was tonight's dream, that's weird. But, all right, yeah.
Wow, that was amazing. Can I have a hug too? It's my 4th grade dream. Thanks. Thank you so much. All right, guys, unfortunately, we have to wrap for tonight. So one, I just want to say 2 really important things to everybody. One, the reason that I jumped off and started a risk was exactly this, right? Was to create a forum for people to engage with other people in your communities and otherwise. And so one, for John and for me, this is an incredible tribute to you guys and to us to have you here. Also, I will say, and I won't point everybody out, but there are some real business leaders here in Boston that are here tonight that know how special Boston is. And I think they're even more confident about the future of Boston, from the mayor's office to the developers to brands to community leaders. And you guys really have the opportunity to inspire people. Please, all we challenge you, John and I, is continue to tell your story, continue to get involved, and find ways that you can connect and communicate better with people in a face-to-face fashion, because I think obviously we sure had fun tonight, and we hope you did as well. So John, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for showing up. This is awesome. Thank you, guys. This has been awesome. Awesome.
So again, where is your favorite city in the world?
Boston, Massachusetts.
Woo!
Absolutely. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Have a great night, and thank you for coming. And sorry we didn't have more seats.